Hey everyone, Leanne here from Kingdom Bloggers. So it is the beginning of April, which means it's time to share my blog income and traffic report for the month of March. So I'm going to be honest, this month was a little rough, or should I say last month. Most of us who have reached some level of success with traffic was significantly impacted by the most recent and ongoing, it seems, Google update. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that later on. But let's go ahead and unpack the report so you can see my traffic, my income, and my expenses. You guys know I share this not to be like, hey, look how much money I'm making, because really I didn't make any money this month. But I really want you to have a realistic expectation of what blog income looks like, where the different sources of income come from, and the thing that nobody talks about, how much it costs to actually run a successful blog. All right, so let's get started. All right, so here's my fancy little presentation that I make for you guys every month. All right, so our March traffic was down substantially. I'm going to actually hop over to my Google Analytics and show you, or actually not my Google Analytics, my spreadsheet for my traffic. So you can see this month compared to last month took a blow, like boom, big blow. So let's hop over there real quick. So this is, I have all of my sites, a spreadsheet. So this highlight in yellow this is March. And so total traffic right here, you can see February, actually January, we were at over 100,000 and now we're down to 67,000. I think total site traffic took about a 30% loss from February. And when you compare it to January, it was quite a bit more. But that's okay because when I look back at, because I have all my traffic from the beginning, well, actually, since like, yeah, I guess the beginning, this has happened before. So I'm not freaking out like many people are. This happened a couple of years ago. You can see here in August of 2022, I was at 121,000 monthly sessions, and it slowly started going down. 2023 was actually a really great year overall. Um, but if you come back here to 21, so in May, I was at 100,000. By December, I was at half. I was at 48,000. I wasn't even at the minimum for media fine at that point, which I had already been accepted. And slowly and painfully, it finally came back up. And then here we are again. So I'm not totally freaking out because this happens. So this is Kingdom. And so let's come over here to the PFE site. This, I think, took the biggest hit of all three of my sites. You can see in February, we were at 46,000, January 48,000. So it was a little bit, and February had a few less days, but we're at 29,000. So this one took the biggest hit of all three of my sites, but that's okay. And then my third site, this one actually took the least hit overall, but this one actually gets quite a bit of Pinterest traffic, so that sort of helped. So February, 28,000, and this month was 21,000. And so Google traffic was hit by half, 120 or 12,000, sorry, 12,000 to 6,000. So thank goodness I was already really doing well with Pinterest. And so that kind of saved me from taking such a big hit. So, okay, let us hop back over to the spreadsheet. All right, so for March traffic, 67,000, 29,000, and 21,000 respectively. Okay, March income. So, and I showed the traffic because the traffic is what generates my ad revenue. And ad revenue, as you know, is the majority of my income, like the bigger cut of where my income comes from most months. And so the traffic for March will actually be paid out April, May timeframe. So it's like I think a 2 month off. And so my summer income is going to be kind of in the tank. So the income I'm making this month, so my ad revenue that you see right here was actually from 2 months ago. All right, so March income. So I have Mediavine. and I have She Media, SK Media is what it's called. And so combined was 27,000. My ad revenue for Mediavine, so I have Kingdom, obviously, and then a few months ago, the PFE site got accepted into it. And so there was an offset of months where I didn't get any because it was switching over. And so I think it was about 2,400 from Mediavine and then the like 300 or 400 something from She Media. But this month was my first payout for YouTube. So I got monetized by YouTube about 2 months ago. And so again, it's an offset. So the month you earn is not the month you get the deposit. It's like, I think 2 months off. So my first payout from YouTube was $105. Doesn't sound like a lot, but I mean, my videos aren't going viral because I'm focused on Christian bloggers specifically. And of course, in the blogging niche in general, that's very competitive. So I'm not going to rank on the majority of the topics that I make videos for. And so a lot of my traffic to those videos comes from sending them out to my email list, sharing them in my Facebook group, and actually some from Pinterest. So, but I'm just excited that I have finally started getting paid by YouTube. Affiliate income, it's about average, $5.95. This is a combination of Amazon, share a sale, a couple of other random affiliate that I'm part of. And so this is about average. I average about 500 a month on most months for affiliate income. My product sales, so these are my digital products that I sell on Etsy and Gumroad. So if you don't know, everything I have on Etsy is duplicated on Gumroad, but Gumroad also allows me to share free products. And oddly enough, people sometimes give me a tip or pay for the things that they could have otherwise downloaded for free. So, and then there's upsells. And so I love Gumroad. So for this month, $251.98. This was an average month. January was a little higher, January, February, just because of all the Bible reading plans, people getting ready for the year, but this is about average. And my teachable income, $993. As you know, my courses count for a very small portion of my income. I did not have a course launch. I'm in the middle of boot camp. So this is just kind of my normal between my memberships and occasional just random sales of my courses. I don't promote them a lot, so I don't really generate a lot of income from them. So total income for the month of March, $4,711. Now to the good part, depending on how you look at it. So expenses. Standard monthly expenses. So these are basically the same every month, give or take. My, like my email ConvertKit, my hosting, Chat GPT, Buzzsprout, things that just every month there's a recurring subscription fee for it. My contract workers, so these are the writers that I pay. I have a VA who does other work for me, and then I have two full-time writers. And so 1,300, unfortunately, and this has pained me so much because of the drastic drop in traffic across all three sites, that is going to cut my going forward income substantially. And the ability to pay for the extra contract work was based on those two newer sites being monetized and the income I would have for that. Unfortunately, I'm not going to have that, at least for now. So this month, March, will be the last month, at least for now, that I will be paying all of my contract workers. And I really hated to have to do that because a big part of this ministry was being able to help other creators. But we have to put a pause on that for now. And for me to kind of figure out in the new direction things that I can do to make up the lost traffic so that within the next month or two, I can bring them back on, because I truly want to be able to use this ministry to support others. And so, I mean, the traffic loss hurt, period, but this was a bigger blow, is having to, I don't want to say fire, but to put them on like a temporary non-status. So I'm hoping they'll be able to pick up some extra work during this time. But my goal is by midsummer to get my traffic back up to where it needs to be so that I can bring them back on. Obviously, the more work I can get accomplished, the more income I can generate. So it's kind of a catch-22, but here we are. So $1,300 this month went to that. Miscellaneous expenses, these are random annual renewals, courses. I did have a course I bought back during Black Friday. It was on a payment plan. So I had that payment. And then there was another training that I purchased for TikTok, of all places. So some TikTok training, and then a couple of annual renewal subscriptions. So $427. My monthly giving, so this is my tithe as well as my monthly charitable giving. So again, this isn't like to pat me on the back, but people have asked me, like, how much do you tithe? How much do you give to church? How much, do you support other charities? And so I want to include that in here. So it's not technically an expense, it is an offering, but I include it here because it is deductions from, I guess, my take home of income at the end of the month. And so part of this is to my church for my tithe, and I have a couple of different charities that I give the same amount to every month. And so this amount pretty much stays the same all year. This month, April, so federal taxes. Nobody ever talks about this. If you make money, at least in America, you got to pay federal taxes. And so kind of assessing how much I'm going to make for the year, which this year it's going to be hard because traffic is way down. So to compare it, normally you seek to increase each year. And from 2022 to 2023, there was a substantial increase in income. But this year, no, who knows, because of the Google traffic loss. So I'm kind of estimating, but had to write Uncle Sam a check for $1,500. Okay. And so actually it wasn't a check, it was an auto thing done through their payment portal, but $1,500 for this quarter. And we'll see what it is for the remaining quarters based on the, income or lack of. And then this month through Gumroad, because I do sell digital products on Gumroad, I do have to remit state sales tax for Texas. And so even though I sell them on Etsy as well, Etsy takes care of that because it's a marketplace. But all of my sales through Gumroad to people who live in the state of Texas, I have to remit sales tax for that. So a whopping $6.41 to the state comptroller of Texas. So total expenses or money going out, I should say, for the month of March, $4,355.77. And again, I think this particular page is so important because when you are thinking about, oh, I just wish I could make money with my blog, it takes money to make money. Like that is not a just idea, that is the reality. In order to build a blog that generates consistent and growing income, you're going to have to pay out money. That's, of course, it starts with your regular blog expenses, the hosting. If you're building an email list, if you have an auto scheduling program, I have Chat GPT, I have Buzzsprout for my podcast, I have other things. So just that alone. But then if you want to scale, like boost the amount of productivity you have, you're going to have to hire help. And that's where my contract workers come in. And so because of the efforts of what they do, I was able to get more accomplished. I'm still trying to figure out how to at least keep one of them on, but I don't know how that's going to look for the next month or two. And then, we should be tithing off of any income that we give. And we should also be giving above and beyond the tithe because the offering is part of, your spiritual growth and honoring and obedience to God and all of that. And then there's the taxes. If those other things don't get you, the taxes will. And so this is why I shared this part of it, because nobody ever talks about this. They only talk about, oh, how I made this much money. But they didn't really get to keep all that money. So it's very misleading. So I want everyone to be fully awake and aware of what it actually costs to have a ministry, have a blog that generates income. Okay. All that to say, gross for the month, $4,700, expenses, $4,300. I made a whopping $356 this month. That's money that I got to keep in my bank account. And so, yeah, there's that. All right, so now let's talk a little bit about this. So I wanted to add this extra slide that I hadn't been doing in the previous ones, because if you've been watching my YouTube channel, you've seen some previous videos where I talk about the changing landscape of blogging. And it's very important that you understand that it is changing, and you're going to have to start looking at other ways to generate traffic to your website. And of course, you got to have goals. Like, what is your ultimate goal with your blog? Is it just to get traffic? Is it just to write and share? You need to have established goals. And so obviously for mine, monetizing was a part of that goal plan. And that monetization was based on traffic. Now traffic's taking a hit. So I got to figure out ways to adjust getting that traffic back. So Pinterest is actually being very, very fruitful. So my Kingdom site alone gets about anywhere on a given month from 12, 13 to 15,000 visits from Pinterest to my site. And so even though Google like just went crazy this month, I didn't lose all my traffic because I still get a lot from other places in addition to the organic traffic. So I'm going to double down on Pinterest for the next couple of months for all three sites. I've actually renewed or reactivated, I should say, my Tailwind subscription, because I have three sites, which means I have three Pinterest accounts. I can't manually pin to all of them. I just don't have the time. So I'm doubling down on that, creating more pins, and actually going to start scheduling them out for all three accounts, because Pinterest has been doing very, very well. Even my Bible study printable site, you saw, I lost half the Google traffic from 12,000 to 6,000 from organic, but I only took about a 20% drop in overall traffic because I do get a lot from Pinterest. So we're going to double down on it and see if we can double the amount of traffic for all three sites coming from Pinterest. I am also going to start testing the waters with social media. As you know, I've never been one to share blog posts on social media as a habit. I mean, an occasional blog post here or there. But through Tailwind, I'm able to actually schedule not just Pinterest, but schedule social media, Facebook. I don't really do Instagram because my Instagram is more about blogging, not faith. And I really have never been active there anyway. But I'm going to test the waters with sharing to Facebook, just different stuff, different times of day, and see, because I did start doing it last month. And this month I actually had some traffic from Facebook, which I really don't ever get. So we'll see how it goes. I'll let you know on next month's report how that went. My Gumroad studies, so I do have free versions and I have paid versions. Those have been doing really, really well. I get a lot of traffic to these from Pinterest, and these are the links that I've actually shared on social media on Facebook that generated the traffic back to my site. So I'm going to really get hot on getting more of those created. I'm working through Women of the Bible right now. When I'm done with those, I'm going to continue on with the parables and a couple of other topics. And so those have been really fruitful. So I'm going to try to double down on how many I'm creating. So TikTok, I should have put those in reverse order. Let's do YouTube Shorts first. So my YouTube channel is growing, obviously. I have found that the YouTube Shorts gain me more subscribers. And even though they're shorts, once you're monetized, so they don't count towards watch hours to get monetized, but once you are monetized, they do earn income. And so I am going to focus on creating more shorts to try to boost subscribers and watch time and all of that. And then TikToks. I know many of you aren't really into the TikTok thing yet, but TikTok is proving very, very fruitful. I'm actually getting blog traffic from TikTok. I share Bible study content there. I don't share blogging tips. And so the studies that I'm creating for Gumroad and Etsy, I'm actually talking about them. So I'm not reading the study. I'm just talking about the character. And I'm like, hey, if you want the free study notes or whatever, hop over to my link, blah, blah, blah. So this month I actually had TikTok traffic for the first time ever since I started doing this. And so I think I'm going to be spending a little more time on TikTok, generating that traffic back, because not only does it get a little bit of traffic to the site, but it's getting people to download those free studies, which sometimes they pay for, but also they have an upsell built into it to where there could actually be a sale coming from that. So that's my plan going forward. This next couple of months is going to be interesting to see how it goes. Most important thing, of course, talk about the income versus expenses and all that, but you got to be fluid, you got to be flexible. Things are drastically changing in the blogging landscape. And so you really can't just be out there just like doing whatever. You need to have a plan and you need to strategize what you're doing. You need to assess where your efforts are working, where they're not working, and figure out creative ways to be more fruitful in those spaces. Otherwise, you're just kind of running around like a chicken with its head cut off. You're not accomplishing anything, but you're working yourself to death. And that's totally not the goal here. But I'm not going to say blogging's dead because blogging just looks different now. So keep, learning, follow my channel because I'm going to be sharing anything and everything that I'm doing that's working and what's not working. And I will tell you, just don't do that. It's not fruitful. Or here's a better way you could do it. Because in the end, we need to be fruitful in the online space because that is where God has called us. That is where the people are. He said, go into the nations. The nations is the internet, is the social space. And so we need to be ready and fruitful in these spaces. It's not just about the money. Actually, it's less about the money as it is furthering the kingdom mission, if you will. And so, but I mean, the money's nice when you get it. So that's all. If you have any questions, drop those comments below. Hop over to my Facebook group. You guys know you can ask any and all questions over there. I do also offer coaching on a case-by-case basis. So if you're interested in that, let me know that as well. And I'll tell you if you're like in the right place for the coaching. I have several coaching clients right now. We're doing really, really well. So that's all. Have a great week, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.